given carers in the form of a chatbot or a robot, a human-friendly machine that will offer companionship, support, remind them to take their medication, send an alert to a family member or a carer if they trip and fall. This is going to become a reality very soon. That's a connected device, that robot, part of the Internet of Things. Agriculture, not enough food to go around to feed our population. We have a problem. We need, therefore, to use the Internet of Things to make farming and agriculture more efficient, to increase the yields per square mile, so that we can feed the growing population. The Internet of Things can potentially do that. This is a concept which I really like. It's called a digital twin. It's kind of something that's used in industry. It's starting to trickle down into the consumer landscape. This is just a prototype, but it's a mountain bike developed by a company called PTC using the ThingWorks platform. So a mountain bike gets manufactured, okay? Sensors are embedded within the frame, throughout the product, and a three-dimensional replica of that object is held back by the manufacturer. And the virtual twin, the sort of 3D version of the mountain bike, is tethered via these sensors, so they're kind of in contact, sending data back and forth. So the mountain bike is dispatched to the consumer, the end user then activates the product, and everything about that mountain bike can be monitored remotely by the manufacturer. Now we'll get to privacy in a moment, but from a purely technological standpoint, that's kind of interesting. Think of all the products that will have digital twins. So just to give you a scenario, you're caning it down a steep mountain, and there's a stress fracture in the frame. Suddenly, the digital twin that's held back, that's being monitored constantly by the AI, will send an urgent notification to say, you've got to be careful, the frame's about to go. We'll send out a spare part or a service engineer before the thing breaks, so they can actually predict what's going to happen to the product before the user does. Well, they could use it for to upsell an upgrade or provide them spare parts, or there's going to be a continuous relationship between the physical and the digital product, and the two are going to be twinned, and the relationship's two-way dialogue between the manufacturer and the end user. So, 2020, we're transitioning from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. Who in the room knows what I mean by Web 2.0? Raise your hand. Okay, good. Well, back in the day, there was the very first iteration of the internet, and it became known in retrospect as Web 1.0, and it simply meant that you could only consume information one way, download web pages in one direction. You couldn't upload or interact. That happened about 10 years ago, where we transitioned into Web 2.0, where you could interact. So blog platforms, social media, it gave us Twitter, Facebook, and it made the web suddenly interactive and more social. So Web 2.0 was really known as the people web or the social web. That era is really starting now to come to an end, replaced by the machine web. And the reason being, hence, Web 3.0. There are currently more things connected to the internet than people. Very soon, as you can see, there are going to be way more things than people. So people are going to become almost sort of a smaller and smaller and smaller aspect of the web or the internet. I have a few issues. I have a few concerns, more than a few actually, and we need to start talking about them now in terms of how Web 3.0 is going to start to grow and what direction it's going to take. In order for these products to be smart, they need to harvest a lot of data, and that data is then used to train AI, to make the AI, the artificial intelligence, that's starting to power our homes, our transportation systems, our fitness devices. These companies need data in order to train the AI. And we're talking about Siri, Cortana, Google Now, Amazon Alexa, I'll come to that in a second. This is just one device. It's a little health tracker for babies. Pretty important, right? There's no security. So it's been exposed as having no security. It's completely hackable. None of the data is encrypted end-to-end. This is just, like I said, not an isolated incident. We're talking about health machines that are being connected. So patient record data is being hacked, manipulated, stolen. Throughout the world. It's not just here, it's in the States as well. Connected cars are very complex bits of kit. There are so many different attack points. Can you imagine an entire city's transportation system being hijacked? Not good. Now, what's been going on recently, I don't know if you guys heard about it, but half of America's internet went down about 2 weeks ago. It's a very simplistic overview, right? It's called a distributed DOS, denial of service attack. And how it was kind of engineered was through these little harmless connected devices. Smart coffee machines, smart watches, smart fridges, CCTV cameras, smart VCRs. Individually, they're perfectly harmless. They've got a little bit of processing power, a little bit of storage. But if you can get access to them, which is actually pretty easy, because it was determined that a vast majority, particularly in China, for whatever reason, were not protected. So they just connected these CCTV cameras, for the most part, with their default username passwords, admin. So this bot called Mirai went along and started recruiting all these devices, and pretty soon it had several thousand. And then by combining all the processing power, it was creating quite a powerful distributed supercomputer without the owner's consent or knowledge. And then that initial cohort was then recruited to start brute force cracking into secured edge devices. And this Mirai botnet attack probably used about 50,000 of these little edge devices to concentrated on a particular target. It was a very formidable cyber weapon. And believe me, this is just a little test. It's just a little warm-up. Security experts reckon they actually have not 50,000, but millions of these things just sitting, waiting to be activated. Against what target? Who knows? This is over 150 different countries, I think. The power of this combined force was, it just took the security community by surprise. People, please, when you get these edge devices, the first thing you must do, it's not going to solve the problem, it's going to help. Just add a password, and a good, strong password. Get rid of the admin. Biometrics, we're seeing more of this sort of stuff, password protection, two-step authentication. It doesn't really matter, because again, the smartphone is a person-to-thing object. It's optimized for people communication. So it's got a human-to-machine interface, right? Like a screen. A lot of these devices are not designed for human interaction. They're sat in the middle of a field somewhere, or they're monitoring a gas pipeline in Alaska, and they're just pinging data machine to machine. So those are the ones that are sitting out there in the wild that are most susceptible to hacking. If you're thinking of designing a device, OWASP offer really good guidelines in terms of security and stuff like that. Privacy is the next issue. I have a massive concern with privacy. Right now, I'm wearing a Google device. It's constantly on, it's constantly monitoring, it's constantly waiting for me to say, okay, Google, show me the weather. And if there's a connection, it will respond. If there isn't, it won't. Alexa, Amazon Alexa, we're inviting these things into our home. They're sharing our personal space. Like I said, constantly listening, constantly monitoring, particularly if they're conversational interfaces. No screen is needed to operate Alexa. So it needs voice communication. So it needs to have a microphone, it needs to be listening. Where's all this data going? Like I said, it's being stored by an oligopoly of probably no more than 5 companies globally. It's a lot of data being centralized and controlled by a few organizations. I'm not sort of hating on them or anything, because a lot of these products are great, and I believe we need them, we want them, and they're important to us. But we've got to have a conversation about how the data is stored, how it's shared, and give the power back to the end user. There's a land grab for our personal data right now. There are consortium being put together specifically to try. If you're given free storage or a free product, whether it's Gmail or Facebook or cloud storage, they're not being nice and kind necessarily. They're offering you the opportunity to get access to products in turn for monetizing or exploiting your personal data, right? So most of us know that, but it's just important to be aware of that. And Apple have been pretty good at this, actually. There's a reason why you pay through the nose when you buy an Apple product. It's because Apple's not monetizing the data in the way that certain others are. So my final concern is that all these robots are taking jobs. It's not just white-collar jobs, it's increasingly very high-level, high-brow knowledge jobs. We're talking accountants, we're talking lawyers, we're talking doctors. AI and robots can do these jobs Not quite yet. Mixed initiative is the ultimate combination, actually, where humans and robots working together outperform just AI and just humans. There's a really nice sweet spot, and I hope that that kind of relationship, that symbiotic relationship, will continue. But there will be a point at which robots and AI will do everything better than humans, to a certain extent. A lot of jobs, anyway. And what on earth are we going to do at that point? Just an ethical question that needs to be discussed. So that I just thought I'd sort of leave that photo. That's me and a friendly robot. Doesn't look like it's about to do anything evil. And just finally, how much time do I have? Because I did have a stopwatch, but the screen went dead. So how much time do I have? Okay, good. Fantastic. So, has anyone heard of blockchain? You are very switched on. Anyone else? Okay, good. We've heard of it, that's good. Has anyone heard of Ethereum? Okay, very good. A BitTorrent? MadeSafe? MadeSafe, they're a little local hero. I was doing some research into this space, and I thought, how can we solve this problem? They're up in Troon. Amazing little Scottish local company developing this technology to give end users control of their data. Kind of like, well, it does a lot of things, but in a basic way, instead of just being given this false choice where if you want to use this app or this product, you have to sign up to our very draconian terms of services, and if not, then you haven't deemed consent for us to exploit your data, you don't get to use the product. That's a bit of a sort of a binary scenario there. I think there's a way to enable people to get access to these fantastic products, but through a kind of a symbiotic relationship like a privacy shield, we can say, yeah, I'm willing to trade that bit of utility for this bit of data or a micropayment in some cryptocurrency like